Now I'm going to try not to cry, okay? Because I know that you'll lose it. So I'll be great for both of us. There are many things. There are many things that could be said about Natie, but I've chosen 3 to discuss very briefly. That first, his family are what make him such a wonderful person and father-in-law and grandfather. There we go. It doesn't take long. Okay. Natie is a great storyteller. My children love to hear stories, especially about their grandparents and their cousins. Natie always has a good one to tell about his childhood. I tried to coax him even to telling some of them. One day, I'll just tell 2 that the kids like to tell. There's a story about the little dog he had growing up. One day, he threw his quilt over the dog, and when the maid came in, she saw a moving blanket and ran from the room screaming, "Tugaloosh?" I got that right? Tugaloosh, tugaloosh. There are camp stories, traveling on a bus for hours to go to a Jewish camp with his brothers and coming home several weeks later filthy and missing most of his belongings. The stories in and of themselves are funny and endearing, but for our kids, they pass on some of the family history and culture. They tie them to the past. The second characteristic of Natie's that makes him so unique is his desire and ability to give advice. Sometimes the advice is unsolicited, and sometimes it is given for too long. But if you listen carefully, there is always something useful, and it is always given with the person's best interest at heart. Many times I have received sage medical advice that has served all of us well. Finally, both Natie and Brenda demonstrate over and over again the importance of family. If Ezra were here, he'd talk about the concept of family in Western society. And where the Capello's clan fits in. He'd talk about our mobility and how our families live greater distances from each other and are therefore not bound to each other in the same way. But Ezra isn't here, so I get to talk. But I want to talk just a little about family. We often joke that our families, we said this at our wedding, that our families are so similar, that the same healthy foods, the same sometimes awful jokes, but more importantly, the same values. Very Jewish values that were taught and demonstrated by parents. And one of the strongest values is family, which in the Capello's family comes from both Natie and Brenda. Ezra often tells me and the children about the celebrations he remembers in South Africa that included many members of the extended family. The fact that so much of the family, except us, of course, live so close to one another is a testament to the value placed on family and learned by everyone in the Capello's extended clan. I often tell friends in Israel how much support in so many ways Natie and Brenda give to so many people within the family. And I'm awed by how many family members are still in contact with one another. Despite our physical distance from everyone, thanks to in-laws and sisters-in-law who feel the importance of keeping in touch, we're able to maintain very special relationships. I go to a group, a Rosh Chodesh group with other women in my community once a month, and one day we talked about aging, and one of the women, we talked about someone who was very,